Welcome to the Apex eSports League Ferrari Series 4A8 Challenge. It is a 5-round series for the Ferrari Series. Tonight's round we've got 2 races at Willow Springs International Raceway. So tonight's session consists of 2 races. So our first session we've got practice of 15 minutes weather light cloud, heading into qualifying for 15 minutes weather light cloud. Then we have our first race, the sprint race, which is 15 laps. Weather is medium cloud. There's no mandatory pit. We'll then have about a 7-minute break in between as we set up for the next session, which will then head in for a 15-minute qualifier with weather light cloud, and then the main race with 30 laps and weather clear. So that's mandatory pit for the final race of this round. So we'll be heading over into pit lane just momentarily, so we'll have a look at the track. So we are in the USA for the Willow Springs International Raceway. So it is a length of 4 kilometres and there is 9 turns. It is a very fast track. Some very good sweeping bends, only a couple of technical corners as they go up over a little bit of the hill in that Sector 1 heading into Sector 2, and then it's quite fast throughout the rest of the track. So we'll see a fair few good fast passes most likely in that section, and possibly a few good tight passes within Sector 1. So not sure what sort of times the drivers have already been getting. But we'll be heading over into pit lane now as this finishes loading. So we have 7 drivers tonight. A little bit of a smaller field compared to the series we just wrapped up just last with the LMP 900. So angry old fella in here roaring off there already onto the track. One Ferrari, and it is custom setups, and he's run off wide, brought it back in. So it is custom setups so the drivers can adjust the cars. They were talking about testing a few different setups that they saw from people online. However, they have noticed just using the defaults had been alright. But also going off where we saw Angry head off into the grass. Be a bit of debris scattered there. And going in yellow, number 117. You saw Angry just ahead of Gallon re-entering the track, throwing a bit of dirt. We'll check out the rest of the drivers' cars. And Weaving 777 in 117, also with the red. And we'll wait for the camera. It's a very long shot on that camera. But he did say to check out the front of his car. Some very interesting liveries for these cars, a lot of choices, as they are all the different country regions that these cars are driven in. So the North America, Asia Pacific, European, and a lot of different colours. I'm trying to see what is on the front of that, so it looks like a Cobra. Very interesting colour scheme. Very tidy indeed. Check out Corby in the white and black, number 99. Running nice and wide on that corner, ready for the next line. And the first time's coming in. Corby recover this car without taking damage. There's a lot of bumps and crests diving in just in front of Mersey Blue. Fitting colour choice for Mersey Blue. And it'll make it easier for me to recognise his car. He's in the Make-A-Wish livery for that one. Psycho heading out into the pits now. Very bright and colourful car with a Tiger. Pretty neat looking car, number 88. And a lot of cars going off wide on that sweeping bend. The right setup, they should be able to head through quite quickly on that actual sweeping bend. And next time's coming in, all about on par at this stage. Gallen coming from 118, Weaven just setting 117, Birdie 116. Nice times indeed for their first opening laps. They aren't the nicest sounding of cars, these 488 Challenge. Very high-end noise. We jump on board with Bertie and see what sort of speed they're getting on the track out of this car. Callan's just improved his time, Angry's just improved his. You can see a lot of understeer going there, just almost full lock, flat foot, top, hitting that rev limiter. Oh, just off that line, unfortunate for Birdie. Okay, so heavy on here as they approach. Like Colby running off there. Oh, bad line for Gallen there. Bring it back on. Quite a hefty ripple strip. So we'll see what speed this is topping out at. Just feathering it on just to get that outer line. Psycho's just run off track. Colby tucking in behind Gallen would definitely be getting a bit of a speed advantage at this stage. Unfortunately, couldn't get a few more drivers to join in tonight. It would be very interesting to see these cars on this track with a full grid. It would have been a very competitive race. And if you are joining us for the stream, be sure to jump on the chat. There's several cars all gone off wide here. Not sure who's in the yellow. We'll cycle through. That's right, it's Gallen in the yellow. The Gallen had gone off. Looks like he may have taken some damage. Okay, yet to put a time on the board for practice. Just under 8 minutes remain of the practice session. Yes, if you're joining us for the broadcast, be sure to say hello. Let us know who you think is going to take pole, who will take the win. I can see you on the chat, and there's also sound controls underneath the stream if you'll be able to do various sound effects over the stream. So get involved and have some fun. And don't forget to hit that follow button as well, we'd greatly appreciate it. The times now, Gallen is our quickest time at 1:16.145. Bertie not too far behind with a 1:16.399. So our first three, half a second difference between them. That cone gets tossed up into the air, over the fence. Don't need that marker anymore. It is a very neat car design that Bertie has picked. Even with the very fitting Ferrari red. Going off wide. Wide again. Brings it in just in time. Interesting to see what sort of setups they are running, whether they are going soft tyres for this race. The cars shouldn't be overly hard on tyres, so a set of softs should last reasonably. See in the background there, car scattering a bit of dirt. Weaven's heading into the pits. Angry's time being invalidated on the last bend. Michael Weaven had a stack in the pits there. Corby's back out on track again. Only 2.6 seconds separating the 7 drivers. That is pretty tight. Colby letting Angry and Bertie go past. Angry's current time most likely is not going to count for running off wide on that last bend. Bertie struggling with the car a little bit through the technical. It looks like Corby just took a dive off track. Can bring that in with no damage. Taking out the cone. Plenty of traffic cone casualties so far. Psycho and Mersey's time very tight indeed. 1:17.260 and a 2:14, very close. I think it could be potential for a 1:15 to be set in the qualifying. Getting that car all out as far to the edge as he could. Very nice line for Psycho. No, it just invalidated, so that tiny bit of tyre off there. Very unforgiving by the race director. And here we go, Gallen just setting a 1:15. Oh no, we've just had a driver enter. He's Skiddy. He has raced with us previously before, so it's good to see him join. I think Gallen shaved off quite a fair bit. You're not going to see his previous best. I think it was a 1:16.2. Shaving almost half a second there. Now 2.5 minutes remaining of practice. Skiddy's out on track. We'll familiarise ourselves with Skiddy 14's car. Looks like he's using an Asia Pacific car as well, with the number 24 with the big teddy bear on the side. Some very colourful cars on the field. And Gallen's gone off and taken a bit of damage there. That might have been from before. Yeah, the buckle bonnet is from before. So I'm giving it a good thrashing on that rev limiter. on board with Weaven. Nice line as it dips down. Nice and fast at feathering it over the crest. Otherwise it does run off wide. Colby running off, it didn't cancel out his time. 30 seconds remain. We'll be wrapping up the last laps in a moment. Nice and quick through there, but a little bit, very tight. That wheel may have just gone off. Yes, it did. Lap time validated. So, as you saw there, the tiniest bit of tyre going off. He wasn't impressed with that taking at the end. Taking out that post on the way past. Bertie with a 1:16.4. Gallon setting a very quick pace at this stage. .40 seconds left to wrap up last laps. Is there an improvement for Bertie? Not an improvement. Colby and Skiddy out on track still. And there we are, practice session is complete, so we have Gallon 350 taking the fastest time in the practice session with a 1:15.880. Difference in the field, Skiddy not getting as many practice laps in, setting a 1:22. I'm sure we'll see him pretty on par. I don't think there'll be much separating the field, so we'll be heading off into a 15-minute qualifying session. There's a strong jolt to Gallon's car as the game loaded up. Bit of wheel spin for Gallon. Getting those tyres nice and quick. Also someone else possibly doing a burnout. Drivers just have to be careful, it is manual pit stops. They don't have a pit limiter button set. The car generally will be fine. You won't be able to speed in the pits, but if you do have that manually set for your steering setups, you have to remember to hit that, otherwise speeding in pit lane will give a grid penalty. A bit of a delay in my scene change there. We still had results over the top there. Track temperatures will have gone up slightly. The season for these races is set to summer, and the current weather conditions for the qualifying session is light cloud, and game time is 10 o'clock. The first session had the same weather, except game time was 9 o'clock. So slightly cooler track temps for that first session, so we should be able to see a bit more time shaved off. I'm sure they'll probably be playing with some lighter fuel loads as well. Skitty still in the pits at this stage, looking to possibly set up his car. Psycho tucking in behind Weaven 777. Looks like we have Bertie catching up behind these two guys. Weaven goes off wide. It's only the outlap, so that'll be fine for him. There's already a cone taken out. Weaven going off wide again. Not sure what's going on for Weaven. Then into a spin. Just did a car reset. Nosy Blue coming in with first time of a 1:18 almost flat. Psycho coming in for 1:17. Bertie coming in for 1:16. Weaven's getting a time on the board despite running off track. The no penalties are given for exceeding track limits. So a runoff that doesn't put you to an advantage the track is allowing. Angry coming in with the fastest time so far. And Corby almost diving off into that ditch, and he's very damaging. Any runoffs into that bit of the track will do significant damage to the car. Corby going off again. Up over that hard curve, it has to be careful getting up over that lip. It is actually quite raised coming in off from the track. And Gallen, previously set our fastest time, was cutting through. Not sure if he had decided to head into the pits. Angry's brought the car in. Skitty's out on track, trying to get some heat into those tyres at the moment. Out to these last corners, he needs to make sure he holds that line. What's possibly going to validate this and the following. 9 minutes of qualifying remains. No time set for Skitty. That could be his outlap. We'll check out our scene so far in this. Nice and tight. Good line set by Mersey Blue. Be on the brakes as he comes into his technical corner. And get a nice line in between these two there. It is rather quick. Then you've got to be heavy on the brakes for that corner. Then come out and then feathered through these two corners. and then you're going to be flat foot up over the crest and then down onto the straight. A lot of high-pitched cackling coming from the cars as they're backing off on that throttle. Nice lines for the two there. Mersey Blue having a bit of an advantage. I don't think he's tucked in just behind him enough. Bit of a slipstream advantage for sure for Mersey. Bertie's come in with the quickest time so far, 1:16.344. Gallen getting a time on the board. He did head into the pits. I'm not sure what he was doing. See if he can land. He's just taken pole position for 1:16.248. That's what he was setting first off in the practice session, and then he did come in half a second quicker with a very nice 1:15. 7 minutes remaining of qualifying. I'm sure we can possibly see Gallen take a 1:15. Currently, Bertie and Gallen are not far off to our first four, about half a second between them. Only a second difference between our first five. Colby having a little bit of bad luck so far. A little bit off pace from what we saw him doing in the practice session. Making it easy through there. Off wide. I don't think that'll have penalised him. And then we've just had Gallen make a 1:15.7. The fevering it through. Bit of a late turn, and then it should be able to feather through nice and flat through the apex. Careful not to get over that line too much. Much better. I think this will be an improvement for Corby. No. He must have gone off track somewhere. Mersey Blue 2 seconds off Gallen's time. Gallen will be one to definitely have a good strong chance to take home a race win for this first race for sure. Consistent pace of a 1:15 would be very beneficial to him. We've got Angry Psycho and Weave and head into the pits. 4.5 minutes remain of qualifying. He's brought that car back into the pits. Is time yet for drivers to get out and get a couple more laps in? Bring up the timings boards, so I'm going to have a look at Mersey Blue's last. So 2 seconds off his quickest time on his last lap. That's Gallen quickly catching up on Mersey Blue. This could be an opportunity for him to shave off some extra time here. See him looking. Yes, he definitely shaved some time off. And very interesting pit exit from the looks of things. We saw Gallen earlier go across the dirt after letting him go through a bit of a weave in the pit exit. It looks like it continues on, and the Weaven's entered into a spin. Brought that back on. He escaped some damage. Very lucky for Weaven. That'll give him another chance at least to get another lap in. There's plenty of debris up on that top of that little hill. Skitty starting to improve on his time, so he's getting that practice in. He didn't get as much practice as the other drivers entering late in that practice session. Improving his times each time around. Oh, and then we've had Mersey Blue go off. Cars dart around him. Mersey Blue give that a quick flip spin around, and I can give him... He's lucky he may get in another solid lap. Won't be an effective lap. If he can get around in time, it'll seem to be able to get another fast one, as he doesn't have that good run off from that last corner over pit straight. There's Bertie in his big Cobra. On go the lights. Oh, it's a very tight line. Let's have a look and see if he... It wasn't his best time, no. He's slightly off, 0.3 of a second difference. Very consistent. And currently 1 minute remains. Gallen not improving. He did have that slipstream advantage to shave off that little bit of time. I think it would be hard to push much better than what he's got, unless he can sit in behind another couple of cars and get a more of a slipstream advantage. .40 remain. So far we've got, pretty sure Gallen is probably set to start from the front. Followed by him so far is Bertie 10:35, and then Angry Old Fella, followed by Weaven 777. We've got very tight times between our third, fourth and fifth position drivers. Angry setting a 1:16.592, and then Psycho setting a 1:16.861. Less than 0.3 of a second between the two. Will Angry improve? Yes, Angry then moves up to second. I think he may have just crossed that line just in time. So it instantly went to qualifying complete in the last seconds. Not sure if that's AI driving the car. I think he may have another chance. Oh, Weaven stealing away second position from Angry Old Fella. I think Angry is letting the car just drive around. So Weaven is finished as well. So took second position. That was very good. Colby's in the pits. If you were with us for last series of Thursday night racing, the LMP 900s, Colby did usually steal it in the last lap. Not tonight. So we have Gallen 350 taking pole position with a 1:15.219, followed with Weaven 777 in starting from second, Angry Old Fella starting from third, and Bertie in fourth, Psycho in fifth, Mersey Blue in sixth, Skitty in seventh, and Corby in eighth. So we'll be heading over into the race ready room. Drivers now have a couple of minutes to get ready for the race. An interesting camera angle for the start of the race, watching from the back of the grid. The drivers now being able to get set up. If they're running different setups, add fuel loads, ready for the race. It's got 15 laps. Once all drivers have hit ready, it'll sync the game and get ready to go. Game time for the sprint race is 11 o'clock with weather medium cloud, and there's no mandatory pit. I'm just figure out what is that scattered on the track in front of the camera there. I don't know if it's birds that the game's supposed to be rendering in. Get might just be rubbish or bits of ground cover. Cameraman can't keep the camera still. It's going to be a very tight start with the times we were seeing. Gallen needing to get away rather quickly as it's a left-hand sweeping bend. It is a fast corner. But if Weaven can get ahead of him here and dominate that track position, he could have him. And it's green. Off we go. A lot of wheels spinning as we go there. Gallen gets away nice and quick. Weaven not so far. With Gallen getting a nice position for that first corner. Midfield, a little bit of tyre spin slowing them up. Weaven quickly catching up on Gallen. Weaven showing a lot more pace through that second bend. That's tight. Oh, and Weaven almost has an opportunity to pass Gallen as Gallen ran a little wide. So far, clean race. Bertie taking a different line compared to Gallen and Weaven. Off into sector 2. Pretty tight between the 8 drivers so far. Oh, we just saw a jolt from Weaven's car. Not sure if there is some lag going on. Oh, and Gallen may have had a jump start at the start of the race. It looks like he's serving a drive-through penalty. Weaven now having the advantage to take the lead in the race. And Gallen, not sure what that penalty is, and he also has a 10-second time penalty that's been added. Yes, he's serving a drive-through penalty, and then he's sped in the pits. That is hurting Gallen, especially having a very strong pole position in the qualifying. So that's why he did get ahead on Weaven so significantly. And then with Weaven catching up on him on those first couple of corners, Gallen must have been furious with himself. Quite possibly could have cost him a strong finish in this race. His driver's starting to slip ahead a little bit. Angry old fella quickly closing in on Bertie. Since these cars aren't overly powerful, slipstream will definitely be a big advantage to try and push those few extra Ks out of the cars on the straights. This track is very well suited for very high powered cars. And Angry running off wide. I don't think that'll be a slowdown. Oh, and he's made contact with Bertie. A hard nudge. Probably done a little bit of aero damage to Angry's car. could be a slight disadvantage. Looks like another nudge as well into the rear of Bertie. Angry getting a little bit of air as he heads over that lip. Corby looking to go an outside pass. Tucks into the inside. Just brings it in front of him. Angry's also on the inside. He does need to try and move over. He's forcing Corby off track. Corby having to hit the skids and bring that car back in. They're competing for every bit of inch on this track. Corby making himself known to Angry, tucking in on that tail, using that slipstream to try and get through on this corner. I think he's got him. Yes, he's made it into third position. A nice pass. Angry's trying to dominate for that inside line yet again. He's got him by having inside line advantage. Corby having to... Oh, another nudge. Oh no, and he spins out in front of him. Has Angry taken any damage? Oh, drastic. He's going to have to wait for Mersey Blue to head past. Gallen catching up as well. This is costing him. He's getting out of the road. Nicely done, Angry. That is unfortunate. Oh, and a spin out again. Oh, and see that traffic cone go flying. I'm not sure who made contact with that one. Some fierce racing seen there between Corby and Angry Oldfella. It was a hard hit that looked like Angry, that forced Angry to spin out. And could be seen as a penalty. It'll have to be looked at after tonight's racing. Weaven setting a nice little gap there. 1.5 seconds behind is Bertie. Psycho sitting in third position. So lucky for Gallen now being able to move up into 6th. But he does have a 10-second time penalty. Gallen quickly catching up onto Mersey Blue. A little bit of a different line. Mersey Blue getting hard up on there. Gallen looking to do an outside pass. Best to try and use the slipstream here. Then he'll have to be cautious as he's going to have a lot less drag on that car, so the aeros of the car for this big fast bend possibly give him a lot of understeer. Now tucking in, use that to slingshot around that first bend. I think we may see him make a pass. Hitting the rev limiter as he downshifts. And he's going to get him here with an inside pass. Side by side. Mersey needing to get over, ready for this next line. Oh, a little bit of a rub. That is close racing. There was not an inch between the two tyres of those cars, side by side. Gallen now getting ahead. We have Corby quickly catching up on Psycho. Don't forget, if you are here with the stream, make yourself known, say hello in the chat. Corby slipping back a little bit now. Here we are, just about halfway through the race. Weaven 777 leading the race. Starting to put a fair bit of distance on Bertie. 2.5 seconds now. Well, we have a brief moment. We'll quickly bring up the timings. So Weaven and Bertie's last laps. So on par, 0.4 of a second difference. As you can see why Weaven is getting ahead if he can be consistent with those times. he can probably continue to put some space over Bertie. Corby just made a pass on Psycho. Looks like Psycho may have made an error. Corby offline to do that pass. Yes, Psycho was definitely offline. And then Gallon also running out wide. Corby and Gallon quickly catching up to Psycho. Corby going off before, allowing Psycho to recover some of that ground. Oh, Psycho ran off wide. That would be a slowdown for him going off there, most likely. Yes, looks like he's obeying it. Costing him 2 positions. Oh, and nice and tighty. Oh, Gallon running off wide, that slipstream costing him some air advantage. It is a bit of a ditch he just jumped. It is rather damaging to these cars when you go off in some of those ditches. Some high crests that will cause a fair bit of aero damage. Gallon, oh, a little bit of slip from Psycho's car. Gallon trying to find a line to take to try and get past Psycho. Psycho getting that car airborne. Slightly puts it offline from recovering. Had it up on 2 wheels. Oh, and Bertie making a move on Weaven 777 using that slipstream. It wasn't enough to get past him. I think Bertie is going to be on a strong attack for this lap. Full lock, lots of understeer through there. Looks like we have some traffic coming up ahead as well. No, isn't traffic yet. Oh, a little bit offline. That's not too bad. He can recover from that. Did cost him half a second by having that line. Psycho's just head into the pits. Looks like he's taken damage when he went off. He's also copped a time penalty. And he has dropped out, unfortunately, by the looks of things. He may have retired from the race. He must have had significant damage. Fortunate for Psycho, he was doing well, sitting in 3rd position. Slightly different line taken by Bertie. To be gauging Weaven's lines, trying to figure out where he is catching up on. So Weaven takes a outer line and Bertie takes that inner line. It is quicker to take that inner line. Can get on the throttle quite well and enter a little bit faster taking that outer line that Weaven took, but does put you at risk of going out wide, as we saw him do coming out of that 2nd corner. Bertie tucking in behind Weaven yet again. Not enough to try and catch too much ground. We're on lap 11, 4 laps remain. Gallon and Corby Gallen using the slipstream advantage, but then being way too quick coming in from there. Gotta be careful how he tries to re-enter here. He could get into a slide. Oh, drastic. That's very bad re-enter there, costing him significant damage. Luckily for Corby, not taking any damage by the looks of things. Very bad spot for Gallen to try and re-enter. Looks like there's a... Not sure if he may be suffering some damage to the car that caused him to run off wide. Let's see how he goes with these next couple of corners, just to see how the car is performing. Might jump on board and see how the steering is sitting as he enters this bend. Dropped a little bit of damage. There's a little bit of shudder in the steering wheel, as you can see. Yeah, there is some. Gallen's mistake there. Now seeing angry old fella move back up. That was a big hit we saw in Gallen. That could have been much more drastic of an accident. I could have seen Corby and Gallen both potentially having to limp their cars back to the pits. Skiddy just running wide and then moving over. And Gallen to go past. Not sure if there's anyone a lap down. Looks like Skiddy is a lap down. Weaven climbing ahead yet again. Not sure if Bertie may be able to catch Weaven in time over the next couple of laps. We'll need to do some big improvements and cut some times down in the sectors over Weaven. Oh, if Weaven does lose concentration and forces an error from Bertie, he could see Bertie potentially steal away the race lead. But he needs to try and stay as close as he can to Weaven. If you can try and cover a bit more ground and close in on him using those slipstreams. We'll see how he goes with slipstreaming here. He does have to remember he's got to be on the brakes a little bit earlier with having that speed advantage, otherwise we'll see what happened with Gallen. The car suddenly needs to be able to turn in and you've got a lot more speed and less drag on your car to be able to make that corner. Got angry old fella looking at wanting to pass Mersey Blue potentially. Oh, Bertie is closed right in at the moment. Lap 14. I'm going to see a battle for a race win in these last two laps. Oh, it's cost him. He may have been given a slowdown. Maybe worth just to take a slowdown and cop a second penalty potentially. There's a big slowdown there. Could actually cost you more time in the long run. Here we are, lap 15. Can Bertie get past? We've got Gallen and Angry and Mersey also looking to make a pass. Oh, that's going to cost Bertie. Looks like Weaven's serving a slowdown. Blocking Bertie in the process of doing it, as with how close Bertie is there, he can't take a time penalty. It will cost him the win in the race. He needs to keep a nice clean lap here and just hold Bertie off. On the last lap here we have close times throughout the field. Corby, Mersey, Angry and Gallen all within a second of each other. We don't want to take our eyes away from the race leader. Here we go. Not going to be enough for Bertie to get around him on the finish. Weaven's going to block him for sure. Weaven takes the win. Bertie in second place. Corby coming up in third. 24 seconds behind our race leaders. 30 seconds remains. I think Corby is securing his position here for a spot on the podium. Oh no, we've just seen a car go off. I'm not sure who that is. It may have been Skitty. Mersey Blue following up behind Corby in fourth. Angry in fifth position, crossing the line. Gallen in sixth. And Skitty in seventh. And we'll have to look and have a see where Psycho has gone. Yes, he did just... Oh, he got disqualified. So speeding in the pits had cost him a disqualification. So a brilliant drive by Weaven 777, taking a race win in the sprint race. Bertie also on the podium in second place, and Corby in third. So the rest of the field, Mersey Blue, Angry Oldfella, Gallen 350, Skitty 14 and Psychogency. So with a 50-second penalty in the end from that disqualification for speeding in the pits. So there will be some reviews to be done. A couple of those hits there, the big one onto Angry Oldfella, sending him into a spin. So we'll definitely have to check that out. So we will be having a brief 7-minute break. So we'll be heading back very shortly. So you'll be at our session waiting screen as we set up for the next session and the drivers have a quick pit stop of their own. So stay tuned. We will be back. And we are back ready for session 2 in round 1 at Willow Springs. You were joining us for the stream and did just see Gallon 350 take pole position and then cocked himself a drive-through penalty off the start, costing him the race. So we just saw Weaven 777 take a race win with Bertie following in second. It was very close between the two. And there is a mandatory pit for the drivers. Drivers are talking about the compounds of tyres that you can use. There isn't a hard option for these cars. They are running softs. And at the end of the 15 laps, the tyres were quite how you doing. Psycho out on track first. We did just see Psycho get disqualified in that sprint race. Unfortunately for him, he was heading into the pits and copped a penalty for speeding, so he ended up seeing a 50-second penalty and then further speeding disqualified. Bad start for Psycho in the first round. Our game session for this one, as we mentioned before, it's a 15-minute qualified game. Time is 1 o'clock. It's later in the day. Weather is light cloud. And then we'll head into the main race with 30 laps. Game time will be 2 o'clock. And weather is clear with mandatory pit. Track temps definitely quite high at the moment and will continue to remain even though it's heads off into 2 o'clock in the afternoon with the weather clear in summer here in the US of A at Willow Springs. These soft tyres are going to be copping a thrashing. For Psycho was first out on track, but it was Angry sitting first time. 123.5. And thanks for following. Pulse on 30 ping. Be sure to say hello in the chat. Let us know who you think is going to get pole position. We just saw Weaven go off track. So Psycho just coming in for 1:15.960. Very good time straight off the bat. We saw all drivers in the 1:16, 1:17 to 1:19s in practice and qualifying for the first session. Corby's just had his laps invalidated. Angry's coming in for 1:15. We're seeing the warmer track conditions currently. Definitely getting some more grip on those tyres. Setting some very tidy times. We only saw Gallon 350 take a 1:15 in qualifying last session. Doing well with a 1:15.5. We saw Gallon take a 1:15.1, and that was with a slipstream. Angry bringing the car in. Psycho running off. He'll bring that car in most likely. Bertie's just come in with a 1:15.5. .021 off pace from Angry's current fastest lap. Yeah, so Angry, old fella, bringing that car in, he did exceed track limits, so he's brought the car back in. On the 10 minutes remaining, goodbye to that traffic cone. Skiddy going off there. Oh no, Angry's just received a one grid penalty. He's very angry at himself here. Angry old fella is very angry. And as you can see there, that pit exit, we did see Gallen in the qualifying or practice before actually continued following that path, and it leads into a concrete barrier. We actually do just head straight out onto the track. The Angry's just cost himself the pole position. Bertie is now starting from position 1. And we did see some bad luck for Angry Oldfell as well. Bertie will need to be careful as well. We saw Gallen having to enter into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty from the jump start in that first race. We saw him cop a 10-second penalty. And both him and Psycho mentioning it was quite hard to get that car to pull up in time from that big fast sweeping right at the end. Bringing that car up in time to get it into 60 k's an hour before entering the pits. And as this is a mandatory pit race, they will need tyres for sure. And I've been made aware from the drivers, watching back on our streams as well, we've noticed a few times not seeing the animations of tyres being changed whilst they're in the pits. However, they were getting tyres most of those times. So where we thought they were doing a quick stop and go, it wasn't the case. So our last pole position driver, Gallen, a little bit off pace at the moment. Bertie very close off the time set by Angry, but unfortunately Angry's penalty pushing him back that one spot. Gallen now coming in for 1:15.3, so he is now pushed to pole position. Angry now showing a second there, but he will move back one spot. And we did see his bad luck in that first race as well. He did get shunted quite hard by Corby and put him into a spin. And then when he was trying to get back on track, he did have to stop for quite a while and allow for some traffic. Did see another accident with Gallen 350 going off track and then re-entering right in front of Corby, I think it was. Seeing a very hard shunt in the rear of his car, getting thrown directly up. But luckily for Corby, no damage. And unfortunate for Mersey. Taken a slight bit of damage. It might be okay to keep going. There's only 6 minutes remaining of qualifying. No, he's going to bring the car into the pits. Yes. Get a fresh car back out. Skiddy for 134. We saw him qualifying for 121s last time, so he hasn't had much practice. He did join in the session later, and he was borrowing a setup as well, he mentioned. We saw him doing a burnout on that last bend as the drivers finished the race in that first sprint race. Even 777, our race winner from race 1 in round 1, and he's just taken pole position away from Gallen. Gallen's in the pits. He's going to need to get that car back out pretty quick to try and set a couple of good tidy laps. Try and steal that pole position away. think it definitely would have been a different result from the race, and even the drivers mentioning it in the lobby while we were setting up for this session 2, saying that they're definitely... Oh, and Skiddy and Psycho have just exceeded track limits. They have run off. Both of them may have ended up in a bingle or forced each other off. These laps aren't going to count for them. We saw Gallen get away very quick at the start over Weave and the rest of the pack, but that was because he did jump the lights, unfortunately. If he had not have done that, we were discussing it, quite possibly could have been Gallen. He did set fastest lap in the race as well. Oh, Weave just tucking in front of Angry Old Fella, exiting the pits. 4 minutes remain of qualifying. Angry Old Fella needing to try and secure position 1. He needs to move up as many spots as he can to be able to cop that 1 grid place penalty. We had Bertie fighting with Weave and 777 in those last couple of laps of that first race. We didn't get to get too much coverage of the 4th to 6th drivers, as they were all very tight, a second between them, all fighting on those last laps as well. Didn't have enough to be able to go back and try and cover all of it. Bertie very close to being able to steal that win away at the end. Hopefully a lot more luck for Psychogency with getting disqualified in that race. Was doing some very tidy driving. Nice line for Psycho, will improve timing. I don't think that lap would have been counting. We'll quickly jump to the timings. Yes, that lap was a 1:24. If you're joining us for our streams as well, if you look down the bottom of the screen, we do have our social media addresses. They aren't links, but you can head to our Facebook page that has all our results and is generally for any of our viewers, friends, family of the drivers wanting to keep up to date with all results and streams. In general, sim racing and gaming discussions. Otherwise, you can also link off from that to our Facebook group. That's where our drivers will register their details and livery selections for the events. You can also join our group there if you want to get involved in any of the driving. We'll be happy to have you aboard and get into some more races. And then, of course, our Twitch channel, which you are seeing at the moment. Appreciate if you can hit that follow button. We are trying to climb up to the 50 followers, get our next milestone. And then there's also our YouTube channel as well. So our streams don't last forever here on Twitch. After each broadcast, they are uploaded to YouTube, so you can actually go back and see all our past races. We've done several broadcasted series. And on Tuesday, if you check out our schedule down below the stream, we actually are doing a V8 Supercars Bathurst Challenge. A short 3-round series in the lead up to the actual Bathurst 1000. The drivers will be competing on the same track each time, just different weather conditions. Oh, very broad by Corby, bringing it in. I don't think this will be a beneficial lap to him. Gallen stealing away pole position with a 1:14. He'll be very pleased with himself there, as long as he doesn't get a jump start. All drivers coming in. Not sure if this lap is going to be a timely one for Corby. He's known for stealing pole position at the end, but I don't think he can do it this time. Oh, running off there. You'll bring that in. So that is it. Session 2 qualifying. Gallen starting from the front yet again with a 1:14.737. So some very quick times. The hotter track conditions definitely improving the car's grippiness, but I think that will be a bit drastic on the tyres over the course of 30 laps, especially with the weather clearing up. Also starting from the front, Weaven 777. Also similar result from before. And then Angry Old Fella starting in third. So he'll be pushed back down to fourth. So Bertie starting in position 3. So Angry copping the 1 grid place penalty. So we'll head over into the race ready screen. The drivers have got a couple of minutes to get ready for the race, adjust their setups. And the setups is custom setups, they can modify it. I wasn't aware when setting up this series that the cars are actually limited to the tyre compounds, so they're limited to an all-weather, slicks, wet and ice. So no hard compound. I was discussing tyre options in the first session, not realising that, so the driver's saying that these softs are definitely taking a thrashing on this track. I don't get any details on the screen that I'm seeing from the director's suite. And it doesn't show on the broadcast screen either. We don't get track temps. Drivers would be seeing that at the moment in their ready rooms. They've all got to hit ready in time before their 2-minute countdown finishes, otherwise they'll be disqualified and sent into the pits. Once all drivers have hit ready, it'll sync and get ready to start, so we could be ready before the countdown. Here we are, drivers ready, we'll wait for it to sync up. There we go, hopefully Gallen doesn't get the jump. Green, and he's extra cautious, costing him a position, seeing Bertie dive between Weaven 777 and Gallen 350 in a very dominating position. Oh, contact. Corby, I think, has pushed off Angry Old Fella and Corby having a bingle in the first race. Hasn't copped him too much. Hopefully it's not damage done too drastic to him. Bet there's lots of swearing going on in the chat at the moment between the drivers. Oh, and Mersey Blue has run off. Re-entering in time. I think Angry will get around him here. Mersey Blue having the advantage of the inside line, but Angry just climbing ahead, owning that track position. Have Gallen and Corby contesting here quite strongly. Some fierce action already just in the first sector. Now heading into second sector. Weaving quite wide on that corner. Also Gallen and Corby following suit. Skitty and Mersey Blue side by side along there. Pit straight. Skitty tucking the car back in just in time. You can see those cars shuddering quite hard. Bit of a rough track under braking. Oh, and we've just had Bertie run off wide. That's cost him a little bit of time. Oh, cars diving everywhere. Oh, Gallen looking to try and make an inside pass on that bit of a technical hard corner. It's not a corner you want to try and do an inside line pass. Oh, and Waven runs off. Just tucks in time just before Corby. Witch's hat's being thrown to the sky. Gallen has climbed back up into second position. Gallen having that slow start. I think Bertie will have been given a slowdown warning running off wide there. Doesn't look like he's decided to obey it. If he did, over a course of a 30 lap race, he could possibly wear a time penalty. Look at the rest of the field, they're all quite close. Angry and Psycho at the moment. Oh, and Angry going off wide, using that whole bit of track to get a nice fast line through this hard technical corners. Oh, and Angry looking to make an inside pass where I said most wouldn't try and do it. Psycho's going to have the advantage. Yes. Forcing Angry off. There may have been a bit of contact. Angry not having much luck with the cars tonight. Corbin, Weaven and Gallen all nice and tight amongst each other at the moment. There's a second between the three. And we just seen Bertie run off quite wide, bringing that car just in time before that tyre wall at the pit entry. That would have been a total wreck for his car if he hadn't have brought that in. Bertie, Gallen and Weaven are going to be very strong contenders, and some fierce battles will ensue with these guys. Oh, we've just had someone drop out. It looks like it's... not sure who it is. It looks like it's Angry. Have a look, can't see what happened. It may have been a DQ speeding in pit lane, possibly. May have had damage heading in. Psycho's just received a 1 second time penalty, not abiding by a slowdown. Unfortunate for Angry, it hasn't been a disconnect, it hasn't come up showing that he has left the session. Gallen closing in on Bertie. Bertie will be feeling a bit of pressure from Gallen, seeing him quickly come up in the mirrors. Oh, Gallen making an error, slipstreaming on this corner there, forgetting which gear he needed to be in. Bertie losing a bit of time, running that left tyre off into the dirt. You can see debris scattered all over the bend. Very dangerous as it's heavy braking. More being scattered out. That's going to start getting very slippery on those corners. You can see Weaven taking that outside line. Both Gallen and Weaven follow each other off the track. Psycho and Mersey Blue look like they have just run off track. They've recovered nicely. Bertie putting that tyre off again, diving the car to the other side of the track and then back into the middle, trying to break that slipstream advantage away from Gallen. Gallen looking to make that move. It's not the best corner for trying to do it. I think we may see Gallen make a move on first position this lap. Bertie being forced into a couple of errors, but then also followed suit by Gallen. As you could see on Bertie's car there, he had full lock into that corner with a heap of understeer. That car was not turning. Two different lines taken by these drivers. Weaven 777, our winner for the sprint race for tonight's round. Also closing in on Gallen. Ooh, the car's bogging in on that dip. Making a very different line. That's just cost Gallen a position. Oh, Gallen getting out wide. He's going to have to try and bring that car in. Didn't bring it in enough. That's allowed Corby to also scoot past just in time. Gallen losing 2 positions. And Corby also running off wide, allowing Gallen to catch back up. Bertie starting to get ahead on the rest of these 3. All these 3 a bit busy battling each other. That can be an advantage for Bertie to try and get some more ground away from these 3. Our first 4 have gotten away from the rest of the field, with 5th place Skitty sitting now 24 seconds behind the field, followed by Mersey Blue in 6th and Psycho in 7th. Lap 7, coming to lap 8, almost a third of the way through the race. We do have to see these guys head into the pits. It is a mandatory pit for it. And only being allowed soft compound tyres, they will definitely not be able to last on a set of tyres. That won't be a stop and go. Lower line by Bertie initially, forcing a bit of a slowdown to Weaven, then allowing Bertie to get ahead a little bit. Weaven definitely a little bit quicker through that just couple of corners as they enter into sector 3. Bertie definitely feeling some pressure here. Weaven is hot on the tail of Bertie. Definitely faster out of there. Oh, and Bertie's just dived off track. An error forced by Weaven. Too much pressure for Bertie, seeing him go off track, luckily recovering that car without too much damage. There was that safety net. Did them back there. Gallen has dropped back quite a fair bit as well. Probably having to avoid an incident. Oh, it looks like we've just had an incident there back there of Mersey Blue. I'm not sure if contact was made to Psycho's car. Doesn't look like there is much damage. Trying to see if that car is struggling to turn. Psycho closing in on Skitty. Now Corby looking to make a pass on Weaving. Used the slipstream, broke it, not enough to slingshot around. Definitely doesn't want to try and... Oh, there's a little bit of a rear lock up into the corner. That's where we saw the error forced by Bertie, seeing him take a dive off the track. That could have ended very badly for Bertie. There is a tyre wall that could have saw him go skyrocketing into it. And there's also a little bit of a crest in the grass. That could have launched his car. Oh, and that is tight. Corby sitting an inch off the tail of Weavin. Oh, and almost looking for a pass car, getting airborne for Corby. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. Weavin giving a hard hit into Corby's car. Corby in a bad position here, inside line. One has to give up that space. Weavin deciding not to and then running off wide. That's probably going to give him a slowdown as well. Very nice pass by Corby. Corby now becoming the race leader. Weavin possibly needed to not contest through that corner. Tap the brakes and then tuck back in directly behind Corby and then use the slingshot to get back around. Some very fierce elbow to elbow racing between these two. These two have now put 7 seconds on third position. Gallen fallen 20 seconds behind the rest of the guys at the front. Following in by Skiddy. Mersey Blue, we did see him spin off. It looked like there may have been contact between him and Psycho. The Psycho into the pits. Also repairing some damage. Off he goes. It wasn't too long of a pit stop. I'm not sure if Psycho may be able to get 18 laps out of those tyres if he can. And that's his pit stop serve. That could be an advantage for him to recover some ground. Even running wide there, we see him run wide a little bit on that corner most times. This is where we did see him and Corby get the advantage, so Corby definitely faster through that sector, coming out of sector 2. Nice, if our timings could show. Actually, the ones Psycho's copped another time penalty. Weavin 777 currently a 1:15.9 and Corby a 1:16 almost flat. Very on par with each other. I think these two will be very tightly sitting for most of the race. It'll come down to pit strategy, I think, for Bertie and Gallen to catch back up with these guys. Oh, and Corby's gone off wide. Also Weavin. That's allowed Weavin to get back in front. See what line Weavin gets here. We see him go off wide. A much tidier line. Seeing Corby take that different line, putting those left tyres off into the dirt. Corby running off a little bit wide. We've got a little bit of time. We'll have a look and see who's got the fastest lap of the race so far. Appears to be Bertie with a 1:15.880. Gallen not far behind. Saw Gallen take fastest lap in the sprint race. He did get both poles as well, so very quick times by Gallen. And there is a prize up for grabs for the winner of this series. We have given it away once before. It was for our Porsche Cayman series. It wasn't broadcast, I did actually drive in that series. So there is an Apex eSports League Champion coffee mug up for grabs. If you've been watching our broadcast as well, last week we did have our final round of the LMP 900 World Series. We end up seeing Gallen 350 steal away the championship win in the last round. Angry Old Fella was leading by 17 points coming into that round. And we saw Angry trying to cover as much ground as he could towards the end, chasing down Curver 974 to try and steal third position away, and we worked out if he did steal that third position place, Gallen would have still won the championship, but only by 1 point. So very close competition in the series. And these are the same drivers we saw there. There's spectacular driving and skill by all these drivers. Is something that we do encourage for the Apex eSports League eSports events. There are harsh penalties given for any infringements to the races after each session. So here we see Corby ducking into the pits. And he brought it in safely. That was a very quick shave off there. We can actually see tyres V change. It was a quick change. As I mentioned before, drivers noticed watching the past broadcasts when it looked like when we were watching them, they weren't getting their tyres changed. They actually, in fact, were. Oh, that could have been disastrous for Weaven. That's a very dangerous corner to have run off there. That would have potentially destroyed the front end of that car. Weaven needs to set in a couple of fast laps here, but I think those tyres are going to be pretty shredded at this stage. They said they were finishing up their last laps with tyres showing red. If you do play this game, you start with the tyres showing green, and then they slowly make their way down to zero tread being red. Yep, in he goes. Grampy Speedo, shave off that time before that. You're just in time. No penalty. Well done there for Weaven. This will be Bertie's opportunity to climb ahead. He hasn't pitted. See how he goes for his current time. Best lap of 1:15.880. Last lap of 1:16.7. So far, Weaven, Corby and Psycho have pitted. Weaven's heading out now. We've got Corby closing in. Weaven will not get out. Oh, that is tight. Sneaks in just behind Corby. We do need to see Birdie head into the pits. So that'll allow Corby and Weaven to head back out into the lead. Gallon, Skiddy and Mersey Blue yet to pit as well. He's going around for another lap yet. As long as his tyres are still holding out, I could bring up the times again. 0.2 of a second quick off his last one. The other drivers do have fresh tyres now. But he has to decide when to bring that car in. Looks like they are catching up on Psycho. They'd be shown blue flag. Here's a lap down. So just probably copped a loud bang. I scratched my face and just whacked my microphone rather hard. Oh, and Corby follows Psycho. Psycho moves over for Corby. This could be drastic where Corby's re-entered. Psycho got out of the way quite quickly. Could have been disaster for all three drivers. That was very close. Both drivers taking a very similar line here. Nice and tight. Psycho going off wide, struggling to keep that car under control. Skiddy's heading in for his mandatory pit. Back over to Weaven and Corby. And here's pit. Bertie is pit. That is a quick way. I think that, yes, off he goes. That's moved him back. Corby and Weaven retake the lead. The only benefit now for Bertie will be that he'll have a longer lasting set of tyres for this second stint. He'll have 11 laps to do. Where these guys came in about lap 14, lap 15. Their tyres are going to be a lot more warm by the end of it. Time progression for the race is ×2. So this should approximately take 45 minutes to do the race. It's usually what I try and incorporate. That'll be an hour and a half time going by, and the race start was 2 o'clock game time. It'll be mid to late afternoon game time with clear weather. Track temperatures could cool off a little bit. That may see Bertie's later pit strategy come to an advantage. I don't think we've seen Gallant pit just yet. Looks like Psycho going off wide again. I'm not sure if he is fighting off some damage. Yeah, some heavy damage to that car. There goes Bertie. Oh, and he's tried to get the car back on, but too much throttle going on. Sounds like a car coming. Yes, oh. Looks like it's Skiddy. Skiddy gets around Psycho in time. Fortunate for Psycho. Colby runs wide, costing him a little bit of time. Yep. You can see Corby breaking that slipstream from Weaven on the straight. You can cost yourself a bit of speed by darting to the other side of the track. You will drop off 5 or 10 kilometres. That car behind you already has a good slipstream advantage. It may not actually have helped. Best to do is just try and put as much space between as you can. Oh, very wide for weaving through that corner. Weaving getting a little airborne over that crest as he enters into sector 3. I'm not sure if these cars have got a 7th gear. We haven't seen anyone get into one. Oh, there's an advantage here for Weaving. Oh, it's not going to be enough. Needs to keep on that tail and look for the next slingshot advantage. Oh, and that's cost. Oh, that's drastic. He's entered the track and taken out Weaving. Corby has come off much worse. There's not much less to that car. Weaving needs to try and get back on track. Not sure who is at fault there, but it looks like Weaving has redressed it all and Corby's car has had it. It is destroyed. This is opportunity for Gallen. Now take the win. Lap 22, 8 laps left. Unfortunate for the two. Oh, and then Corby's car is completely suffering. Oh, and then Weaving's car struggling on that lip. Broad sliding. Doing a grind like a skateboard on a rail over that ripple strip. Luckily bringing it back in. I think Gallen has pitted. If that is the case, he now has a very strong advantage to get that race win back that he probably should have got from that first race. That jump start. Oh, we've had someone leave the session. Looks like Psycho has dropped out. Hasn't left. It may have been a DQ. Corby just repairs. Didn't take too long. Must just been some aero damage done to the car. Gallen now having a strong advantage. 7 laps to go. All he has to do is just keep that pace, keep it clean, and this race could be his. Weaving in the pits as well. Not too much to fix. Six laps remain. Gallen slightly offline. Bertie now holding second place. Almost 5 seconds behind. Oh, looks like he's struggling a little bit. He may have some damage to the car. Or he may be serving a slowdown. Gallen's just been given a slowdown. 2-second penalty. Weaving also copping 10 seconds entering the pits. Fierce action out of both races tonight, and with only half a grid worth of cars. Very exciting stuff. Definitely possibly some penalties may be served after checking replays. The whole race will need to be checked over for this one to see that incident between Weaven and Corby. Mersey Blue chance at the podium at the moment. 37 seconds behind the race leader. Gallen does have 2 seconds, and Bertie is only 3.5 seconds away from him as well. If Bertie can close in, that time penalty could actually be costly to Gallen. It may have been worth serving the slowdown. Corby's car looking much better now. Looks like he's a little bit off pace from what we were seeing before when we were seeing him and Weaven battling quite fiercely. A little bit out of form after that incident, most likely. Very unfortunate for those two. Yeah, 2 drivers down. So a bit of a safety net with times at the moment between 3rd and 2nd. 32 seconds. So drivers definitely would be feeling a bit of fatigue. 26 laps into the race. And mistakes can happen, as we saw between Weaven and Corby. You can see Corby in behind Gallen at the moment, so Corby a lap down. So a bit of space between drivers. We'll have a look and see who's taken the fastest lap. Gallen 350 at the moment has secured. No, I think it's Weaven for 115.4. No, sorry, by terrible eyes. Corby 387 at 115.360. So it is 5 bonus points for fastest lap in the race. Gallen taking a little bit easy through those corners. He could push that car and try and take a fastest lap, get a few extra points, but he doesn't want to risk a mistake. He's now put that gain to almost 7 seconds. But he seems to be struggling with the car a little bit at the moment. I think that could be enough of a safety net for Gallen to try and push for a fastest lap potentially. Weaven passing Corby. Oh, and Corby has run off wide. Oh, almost into the cameraman. Can he bring that back on in time? Oh, bring it in way too much oversteer, bring it back onto the track. Oh, too much throttle getting it back on into a donut. Just narrowly avoiding that fence and ditch. Got some time back on the track. Now he can get under the power. Gallen's best lap of 1:15.541. Last lap was 1:15.664. Could push these last couple of laps, try and get an extra 5 bonus points to make up for a loss in positions in that first race. space, we might jump on board for a hot lap with our leader. And Gallen, well, Psycho's just left the session, he's had to leave. Haven't seen Angry leave, so he's watching the race. His best lap not on par with his best lap. And Gallen does usually watch the stream, so I hope I'm not putting off by putting you on the view there, Gallen. You want to see if you can pull off fastest lap on the last lap. Would be nice if we could actually jump in and talk to drivers, as you usually see in some of the races like the V8 supercars. Last lap, I think we could definitely see a quick time. Gallant was rather quick across pit straight. There's 18 seconds between first and second. To sector 2, almost here. A nice line by Gallen. Cross always could do it. A nice quick time here. This could be enough to steal the fastest lap from Weaven. You see a lot of understeer to the car coming around this fast sweeping right hand bend. Oh, half a second, this will be it. Oh, a little bit off, trying to bring that car in line. Oh, it could be it. Done it. He's finished the race. I think that definitely could have been the fastest lap of the race. 1:15.020. You have done it, Gallen. Stolen the fastest lap on the last lap. Chucking a Brocky there. Well done. Race win for Gallen, 350. Follow it up by Bertie, 10:35. Last lap for drivers. We can see Weaven in the back there. Bertie's going to do a burnout at the finish line if he doesn't block cars. He's got 20 seconds to do some doughies. Oh, brings it across the line, so the AI takes. And Mersey coming up to finish on the podium with a third place finish. 30 seconds to get the car across the line. Here he comes. Well done, Mersey, taking a spot on the podium. And there we have it. Round 1 finish for the Ferrari Series 488 Challenge. So we have Gallen 350 taking a win after him losing the opportunity for a win in that first race by a jump start, and then stealing away fastest lap time on that last lap of 1:15.020, so 5 bonus points there for Gallen. We then have Bertie on the podium in second place. Also on the podium, Mersey Blue in third, followed by Weaven in fourth, Corby in fifth, and Skitty in sixth. And we did lose Angry Old Fella and Psychogency. Possibly could have been disqualifications from the pits. I'm not sure what happened, but we will be checking out a lot of the incidents for the replay, so be sure to head to our Facebook page to check that out as well. So sorry, I just clicked the wrong screen. So that concludes our first round of the series. So next week, Thursday night, 7:30, the broadcast starts. We are at Donington Park GP for round 2 of the Ferrari Series 488 Challenge. If you want to get involved in the racing, head to our Facebook page, facebook.com youtube.com/Apex Esports League. You can head over to the group from there, join in, get involved in the racing. Otherwise, be sure to hit that follow button so you can keep up to date with our live streams. Head to our YouTube channel to see any past broadcasts as well. So thank you for joining us. It was some great action tonight. I'm sure we'll see some more. Hopefully some more drivers will join in the next one, as it was intense racing with who we had already. So thanks for joining in. Be sure to hit that follow button. Thanks.